raised on songs and stories, heroes of renown, the passing tales and glories that once was Dublin town, the hallowed halls and
Right here. We're joined live in studio this morning with Finbar Magee, singer-songwriter from Whitecross in County Armagh. Finbar, you're very welcome here to the show.
Thanks very much, Stephen. Great to see you again, mate.
You arrived here in one piece anyway.
At last.
Right. So, you have a lot of new stuff wrote. I'm buzzing to hear some of the new stuff because I know what you're capable of. So, how's things for yourself? How are you busy?
Well, it's been interesting more than busy. I've done a lot more writing and I have to do some more recording. I'm doing a new recording off my Belfast Love. Doing that out with Dave Malloy and doing it in a more traditional setting than I did it the first time. And I also got a load of new material to start getting ready for a new album. And then I'm doing some co-writing with some American writers. I've started off with a guy on the West Coast who I met at the West Coast Songwriters Conference, and I've got invites to go to Nashville to write with which people I didn't realise, but they are big names, people I never heard of before. But when people are saying, "Wow, you're writing with so and so," and I said, "Well, I don't know yet. I got an invite, but I have to make the effort to get over there." So that's all interesting, and. So I'm determined now to keep on this track, and the day that I write the top 10 hit, we're going to go out on the tear.
Well, I'll tell you what, make sure you take me with you.
I will. You're definitely coming.
As they say, it only takes one song to hit it big, and that makes somebody.
That's right. I mean, that's right. I mean, I was listening to Jason Bloom, who's, for people who don't know him, check him out. He's written songs for like just some of the top artists in the world, every like major type of music you could think of, everything from country to rock to pop. He's written songs for Britney Spears, the Backstreet Boys, and like a big country artist as well. He's so clear in his delivery about how you make a song work and what way it should operate on a person's mind. He only has maybe 15 seconds to catch their imagination while they're driving down the highway listening to somebody on their phone. Yeah. And at the same, well, maybe they shouldn't be, but that's what people do. Or listen maybe to thinking of something about happening at work, and you maybe have 10 seconds, 15 seconds to capture them and make them want to listen to the rest of your song. Yeah. And that's basically what you got to get into if you want to hit across the water. Irish writing or folk writing's that little bit different, I suppose, in that we like to have that ambiguity of what things can mean. A line could mean maybe 2 or 3 things, and we like that, and I think it's good for our creativity. But in that pressurized world that we live in, people like a message that's clear, and it never dawned on me as obviously as until I heard him speak about it. And here's a guy who has written, as I say, songs that have sold over 54 million copies from different artists, and at one stage this guy was living on cat food. He was that broke.
Holy mother!
Yeah. Tuna cat food he lived on for a few months.
Does he sing as well as write songs?
Yeah, he does. He's not known as a singer, and he started off life as a would-be singer-songwriter, but after a few years, he realised that really wasn't what he wanted. He wanted commercial hits, big commercial hits, and his songs, although they were getting a local appreciation in his hometown and the town he was living in, and people were telling him he was a great songwriter. He went in and he pitched this song he thought was going to make it for him, and these 3 pitchers just looked at him and went, "No," he says, "that song will never make the radio." He says, "Just not a chance." And he told the story very graphically about how he went home and he was contemplating doing all sorts of things to himself, because this was his passion. Yeah. And he had 1 or 2 options, and one was to do himself in, and the other one was to correct everything that was wrong. So he went back and he wrote a song, rewrote it 7 times, and he might have rewritten some of those lines maybe 20 times. And he rewrote the whole song, and gradually that gave him his first, didn't make him a fortune, but that gave him his first real clear passage to greater things. And from then he's just been, I didn't really know that much about him, to be honest, until I started to read about him. but we certainly knew the artists that he'd written for him. And who hasn't heard of the Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears?
Yeah.
Oh, man, if you could get a song to Britney Spears album, I don't care what do you think of her. I think we'd all take it.
You know. But I done a show yesterday, and every song that I played on the show, I realised after playing all the songs that most of them songs were written by the man Jimmy McCarthy.
Aye, Jimmy McCarthy, yes.
And some of the songs that Christy Moore was singing, Mary Black was singing.
Yes.
I was saying, God, that's a coincidence. Jimmy McCarthy, I think he's from Cork.
Yes.
And he has wrote all these songs for all these different artists.
Yeah.
And I've done a bit of research into Jimmy McCarthy, and he's written songs for Westlife. Everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I was saying, if Jimmy McCarthy hadn't come along, none of these songs would have been ever heard of.
That's right.
So he's set in stone the basics for Irish ballads.
Yeah, I would agree. Jimmy McCarthy, I think, is one of our best songwriters in this island, and he writes songs in different genres. He has the abstract type song like "Ride On." It's a fantastic song, but it's ambiguous. You wouldn't know what it's about.
Yeah.
I suppose only he himself really knows what it's about. You would imagine it might be, of course, about a broken relationship, but the graphics that he used to using a wild horse, and you know that he could never be tamed, and that type of approach. It was a fantastic song. Christy Moore made it the big song, but he can write in different genres, and he's a fantastic writer, and indeed would be up there probably amongst the best with Van Morrison, Paul Brady, you know.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Big guys, like, you know.
But we'll have a wee song, and we're down to hear what's on the menu today. So what
we start with? Well, I'll try something a wee bit mournful first.
Right.
And then we get on maybe to something a bit and go out on a happy note maybe. This is a song that I was out at the West Coast Songwriters in America, and
where did it take place?
In just outside San Francisco, in Palo Alto, as it was called. And there was probably in the region of about a couple of hundred songwriters, maybe 250 songwriters there, different
from all over
levels,
the world,
all over. Yeah, mostly American, but from all over. And thanks to a local guy here called Morris, a friend of mine, Morris was persuaded me to go and said I should go. So I went, and I pitched a few songs, but it took me a while to catch on as to what was going on. And they had a team of specialists there, you know, Nashville pitchers and people from film and radio and, you know, all sorts of people looking for different things. But then they chose, the professional panel chose what they thought were the best 6 songs of the festival. And thankfully, this was one of them.
Happy days, out of 250 people.
250 people and roughly over 1,000 songs.
Brilliant. Just pull that mic round there and we'll get her. Let's swing around, that's it. Happy days.
Is that all right? Okay.
Yeah.
Here I am, alone once again, a stepping stone again in rivers of pain. And there you go, your heart made of clay. Was I just a throwaway from making you stay? This time I'll be strong. I won't drink or do the things I did so wrong. I've given more than I can take. It's time to give my heart a break. And where's your tears? They never seem to fall. Do you ever cry at all? Do you want to see me crawl? What's the use in churning out cliches, in driving in the nails. When love has failed again, this time I'll be strong. I won't drink or do the things I did so wrong. I've given more than I can take. It's time to give my heart a break. I read all the books, they analyzed my youth. Oh, I got stoned in days of despair. My wrists bear the scars of the knives gone through my heart. But I'm changing this time, I swear. 'Cause this time I'll be strong. I won't drink or do the things I did so wrong. I've given more than I can take. It's time to give my heart a break. I've given more than I can take. It's time to give my heart a break.
Very strong lyrics there.
Thanks
Very,
very
very
much.
strong. I catch a bit of Bob Dylan type there when I was listening to that song.
Yeah,
That
well,
sort
of
of
course,
style, you know,
he's a
just
big influence, of course.
yeah.
You know.
And like look where he's got, you know what I mean?
Well,
Absolutely.
if I got one step up his ladder,
Yeah.
I'd do really.
And you can see why, listening to that song, why it did become one of the top 6 in that songwriters.
Well, thanks. It's been sorry, just get that back. It's yeah, it's at the same time, after listening to Jason Bloom, I know there's a few wee things that I just need for that bigger market that I have to open up a wee bit. Things that I would say that are open to interpretation. You would like the listener just to be a wee bit more clear on. Not much,
Yeah.
but there's just a few wee tweaks here and there that need to be done, and I'm glad I hadn't got it recorded properly until I do that.
And you know where you're going to be going then for what you have to do.
Yeah, I know what I have to do with it. So, and although it seems like a few wee tweaks, those few wee tweaks could take maybe a wee bit of time just to get them right.
Yeah.
Every line has got to be perfect.
Yeah. And it's brilliant that you've got that advice from the next that guy.
Yeah, well, that's
know what I
right.
mean?
That's right. It'd be a bit of a shame if I had it all ready to go and
Yeah.
spent, whatever, recording it and getting guys in to give us a hand to record it and whatever. So, the right time was to fire it out there while,
Yeah. And the thing about it is that I'm thinking here is they're only wee tweaks. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From them guys' point of view, that you're
Yes.
99% there, just tweak it that 1%.
Yes.
Whereas there's other people probably had songs in and they were probably ripped apart. You know what I mean?
well, politely, maybe some
yeah.
were, that's right. Yeah, and they were taken because they were, I suppose, songs, everybody writes duffs, we all write them, but, I would say that the critiques that I've seen, the guys from anybody who's doing critiques, they always be very positive. They point out the good parts of it, but at the same time, you read between the lines, you know that something really needs major surgery.
Yeah.
Whereas something else maybe needs a bit of work. And there are some, over at that festival, and there were some fantastic songs. To be honest, I was a bit surprised. It was whenever the guy turned around the stage, I hadn't even got mine recorded because I played it live.
Yeah.
The rest of it all got professional recordings,
right.
you see. So as we were recording it with my little flip camera, just the event, he turned around and says, "And what song I'm choosing is," so I have it on the flip
So you
camera.
recorded him actually pointing at you.
Yeah.
You're so brilliant, brilliant.
It was a bit of a surprise. I wish can I say shit myself?
Well.
I was excreting myself as he called me up on the stage to sing it, because all these other songwriters were, filling the auditorium, and I just was shaking, But
And did the people come up afterwards and talk about it or whatever? Or?
Yeah. It's from that I got a few contacts of people that suggested that I should come over to write with. That's happened a few times, but I've never really picked it up and went with it. Maybe a bit of a lack of confidence, maybe because I was busy doing other things. Yeah. But I've had this, I've had a signal a few times now, and I'm looking at it now going, look, if I don't have a go at this at least and give it my full heart, I'm going to kick myself. You know what I mean? I might fail.
Well, I know you done a song, the Ginger Gene.
Oh, the recitation.
And I loved it because it's probably taken in a bit to stick people with ginger hair, red hair, especially in Ireland. You know what I mean? And one of my young girls is ginger hair, and the first time I heard it, I thought, wow. But the thing that struck me about that song was
recitation. Recitation.
Oh, it's a recitation. Yeah. But the thing struck me was, how did you remember the whole lot? It was.
I have a contact lens in my eye, you see, with all the lyrics
all the lyrics in it, but I just thought, holy God, how does this man remember all this? But it was brilliant. Yeah. So do you fancy giving us that one?
I could have a crack at that, surely,
Even if you want to give an introduction or whatever, you know it better than...
Okay, we'll give a brief introduction. Not too sure how much we'll get away with here, but anyway, this was based on an idea from... my sister had read in the Sunday Times, it was written that the ginger sperm had become no longer fashionable, and that the top sperm bank in the world no longer wanted ginger sperm donated because nobody wanted a wee red-haired baby. And it's actually true, so it was almost laughable. But I thought to myself, my God, I was more ginger when I was younger, and I have two ginger brothers, and there's quite a streak of ginger running through our family, so I took great umbrage at this, and I began to think of retaliation. And the idea was, well, if they discriminate against it, it's going to become very rare. And then if it becomes very rare, then, like most things, the value of it will start to increase. So you're going to find rich Russians and Americans and whoever else are going to want a wee ginger head baby instead of one of them wee dogs that can hardly see, or a fur coat. They're going to have a wee fashion accessory in the form of a wee ginger baby doodle. So I thought then that if we had an untapped resource of it here in Ireland and indeed in Scotland, at 10 or 12% of the population, and if we could only sell each sperm at £1, there's 20 billion per ejaculation, we could end up masturbating our way out of recession. Now, that's if we all pull together. Anyway, on that note, we get away with that? Okay. I think that's okay. Anyway, so sorry about that if it offended anybody. So on that note, I wrote this recitation. In the trials of evolution, many species face persecution, become fossilized institutions never again to be seen. The big cats with the saber tooth, and the dodo bird, the great mammoth, the laughing owl no longer hoots, and soon is the ginger gene. Gone is the Goliath white-toothed shrew, the red gazelle, the broad-faced potteroo, the kangaroo island emu, and the fruit dove of the Philippines. Say adieu to the pristine, mush-housed bat, the Barbados raccoon and the bulldog rat, and next in line for that Darwinian swat is the undeterred ginger gene. Was it messages subliminal that made the red line terminal, whilst nothing short of criminal, their relentless hostile themes? Its red says stop the lights, its red says far from right, its red says fight or plight, and good night to the ginger gene. Why a world black, brown and blonde would be plain dull and wrong, with no fair freckled friends among to ridicule and sell sun cream, then fashion is the curse, that painted red perverse, and so now I fear the worst for that cherished ginger gene. And yet we hold cross-community status, from Red Jampy to Martin McGuinness. There's McEnroe, you can't be serious, Nicole Kidman, Norma Jean, Winston Churchill, George Washington, Cleopatra, Wayne Napoleon, Willie Nelson, Wilma Flintstone, and Ginger the Dancing Queen. Do we credit no more merit than some frog, newt, or parrot? Surely we must warrant status as endangered beings, like elephants and tigers slain, Our numbers too have waned, and so few of us remain with this genetic code supreme. Why last night I could not sleep, as this loss would make me weep. The red line we must keep to roll on the rustic reams. With my follicles turning grey, I just had to find a way to extrapolate that DNA. Then it came to me in a dream. We need a gallant action plan to sow red seeds across the land, to copulate before contraband all red gas and St. Colleen's. We'll get a European grant. There's a clever slant. Hard cash just to implant and make all non-gingers green. Relinquish, no we mustn't, breed a ginger baker's dozen. Even if your cousins, sure that works for kings and queens. With our passion and our fire, we'll pull it from the wire. Show them we are not expired, we're still a big part of the scene. So boys, don't wait until tomorrow to find that Maureen O'Hara. Girls or Robert Redford, you could borrow, do your bit to raise the mean. We'll breed redheads by the score, maybe millions, maybe more. We'll be lost through that extinction door, we're certainly no has-beens. Why, without red, there is no rainbow. No sunsets to soothe and glow. Few tulips would bloom and grow. There'd be no hand for Ulster themes. There'd be half a deck of cards. No king, no queen of hearts. And Amsterdam would be dark in parts without those lights that gleam. So let us not say fare thee well to the noddy holders and the Jerry Hallowells. We'll be no George specimen behind some museum screen. Let us red united stand and let our members grow, expand in the name of that most passionate brand, the gorgeous and unforgettable Ginger Jean.
Brilliant. That was top notch. That's recitation writing to the highest limit. You know what I mean? You can't get any higher quality than that.
Thanks very much too.
Some of the phrases in it are just standing out. Like, you know, there's no twigs to put under that. You know what I mean? It's just jumping out at you.
Well, I have to give thanks to the internet, because I started probably about 5 years ago, but I couldn't get it finished until I got the internet, and then began to look at, you know, what species are all extinct.
Right.
And that's what got me going. You know what I mean?
Brilliant.
But yeah, it was glad to have written it. Sorry if that was a wee bit risky for any viewers, but I'm sure it'll be all right. You'll get over it.
We're going to get Andrew to give us a wee song from the archives here. Welcome back to Destination Folk here in Uri with myself, Damien Quinn, joined by singer, songwriter, talented Finbar Magee from County Armagh, Whitecross, and we were just after hearing Tommy Macon from Derrynoose outside Katy in County Armagh. So we have a wee song coming up, Finbar, Belfast Love. Give us a wee bit of intro about this.
Well, this is the song that when I lived in Belfast, we used to have a credit musician. Used to appear at the house for various parties that would go on till all hours of the morning. Best musicians who were in Belfast. We fortunately became friendly with a lot of them and used to come around, but I never played in front of them because I always felt so intimidated. You know, they were so good and I was so bad. But eventually one night, through a bit of Dutch courage, I sang this song, and a friend of mine called Ken Spence, hi Ken, if you're listening, and Ken just looked at me and says, "You can write, boy." And he says, this time he started to record some of those songs. So with that bit of encouragement and another guy actually as well, I just went on ahead and recorded it. But I was probably a wee bit green or a bit wet behind the ears, so I probably didn't put the slant on it that I wanted to. I mean, it's not exactly the way that now I would have done it differently. So in fact, I am re-recording it locally up with Dave Malloy in Forkhill. I'm trying to keep it all local if I can.
Yeah.
Breach Quinn on fiddle, Terry Conlon on the accordion, probably Paddy Martin. I would say haven't heard back from him yet on whistles, and trying to keep it all local. And I'm just got starting it, so I'm looking forward to hearing the finished version. Yeah. But
and there's a lot of bands have recorded this song already, haven't they?
Thankfully, yeah, Gotcha, Raglan, both great versions. I love them, of course. I mean, it really is a privilege. A real gives you such a glow inside to hear somebody else sing your song. Paul Cardy sang it as well, and Rudigan from Scotland, and I believe there's one or two other versions around. But
brilliant.
Each version has its own slant. But I think now I'd like to put my own slant on it, the way that I'd like to hear it sung. So try it here.
We're just throwing that mic around. We'll get her lashed out, as the man says.
Thank you. walk through Ormo Park on a cold grey autumn morning. A diamond bright came into sight, just like a jewel shone, with sapphire eyes to hypnotize. She cast on me a spell, and ruby lips I longed to kiss had not the nerve to tell. When you greeted me so graciously, you set my heart aglow, and like a child I was beguiled. I just had to know your name and from where you came, and with me would you go to the end of time. Would you be mine to let this blossom grow? You are my Belfast love, and there's no one above you. You're my Belfast belle, you see. There's no one but you for me, and I will love you endlessly. You, my Belfast love. Come, take my hand, across this land I would fly you to the moon. Sail with me the 7 seas, each day would end too soon. And if we are graced with young, this story to them I will tell, how we first kissed in the morning mist, how deep in love I fell. You are my Belfast love, and there's no one above you. You're my Belfast belle, you see. There's no one but you for me, and I will love you endlessly. You, my Belfast love.
Brilliant, fantastic. And it's not hard to see why so many bands have recorded that.
Well, thanks so much, Stephen. Yeah.
I love that, and I play it all the time on my show, you know what I mean?
Hopefully the guitar's in tune, unlike that.
Oh, well, there's a brilliant guitar playing as well, you know, which is commands the song, you know. I would love to see the likes of a Mary Black, Francis Black type recording that. Just, I think, you know, I'd love to hear one of their type of voices singing it as well. I think it would be a massive hit.
Yeah, well, we just, you know, pray to God, put it out to the universe, and then let it just go there. And you know, I've sent it out to a few folks, but it's you know, songs can sit around, as indeed I've heard from professional writers who sit on a shelf for 12 years before they really get moving. You know, so it's moved a bit, and I really would love, of course, someone to bring it on, maybe just to the next level. Yeah. But well, that's, as I say, we'll go on the spree that day too. Right. We're going to have a lot of sprees coming up, I hope.
I tell you, when everything hits you all at the one go, we'll not know where to go.
Just book a room, Daisy Hill.
We'll just take the world by storm, as the man says. We can get on Richard Branson's rocket to the moon, as he's taking orders for you. You know, you can pre-book it just on on the chance of it.
Yeah. Weird, and I think that there.
Well, he's taking orders. There's a few people booked onto this flight already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So good luck to them. You know. But
I'd be happy enough with the boat. Just a train to Cork would do me right.
That's it. So there's another wee story. I love the wee story about the song you wrote for TK Maxx.
Oh yeah. Good.
I just thought this was so funny and it was class. You know what I mean? So give us a wee intro to that.
I will, as I'm tuning up here.
We all know a TK Maxx somewhere.
Oh yeah. By the way, we have got the TK Maxx. We have their
good wishes, and they have said yes.
thing away, so there's no problem about getting sued or anything like that. So I've written. I had to write to TK Maxx
To get the permission to sing it.
as Colin Sounds pointed out. He says, "God, you wouldn't know what would happen. Somebody could take action against you or something." So I wrote to Miss McGonigal. He was their PR person,
Right.
and she said, "No, sing away. We love it." She said, "Sing away. We love it." So
When they opened their new shop in Belfast, they actually then contacted me to see would I sing it live outside the shop while they were cutting the red tape.
Right.
And I says, okay. I says, what's it worth? He says, £200. I says, £200? I'm your man. He says, I'd be up there. So I had to set up the PA around about 8 o'clock and start getting everything ready to sing
8
the
o'clock in
song.
the morning, was it?
Yeah.
Early time it was singing.
Oh yeah, thought it was. The official opening was at something like 9:30 or something, but I had to just get things ready, you see.
Yeah.
By the time it came around to the official opening, I was singing away outside it. Should have recorded it actually, now to think about it, but anyway. Did a job, sang it, I don't know, about a dozen times, I'm sure.
And you just had to keep repeating the
Keep
same
repeating
song.
it, yeah.
Over and over
And
again.
about a couple of weeks later, the TK Maxx envelope arrived, you see, on the mat, you know. So I ripped it open and I thought, yo, here, let's get out here. And it was a £200 voucher for TK Maxx.
Oh, goodness gracious. Now, you were well and truly stung there. You can nearly write a song about how they got you.
How they got you, yeah, that's the following TK Maxx 2.
Part 2, you know what I mean?
Yeah, next time I'm going to write one about B&Q.
All right.
Yeah, beggars the question.
Well, you must be looking something out of there, are you?
I need a new drill.
The TK Maxx song coming right up.
There you go. And this is a true story. Well, I really needed nothing. That's a matter of fact. I took a stroll to soothe my soul, perplexed by income tax. I was locked in autopilot, just trying to relax, when all of a sudden I didn't see it coming. I was heading into TK Maxx. TK Maxx for your nicks and knacks. You can't hold back that paddy whack. There's cutlery and cluttery, there's stacks of anoraks. TK Maxx for your socks and cacks, a silver brush to clean your jacks. Calvin Klein's, all the latest lines you'll find in TK Maxx. I wasn't into labels till I saw that diesel shirt. At half the price, it looked twice as nice, so I tried it on for sure. But the blue one looked much better, the pink polka dot better than that. With 3 for 2, sure, what could I do but thank you, TK Maxx. TK Maxx for your nicks and necks. You can't hold back that paddy whack. There's cutlery and cluttery, there's stacks of anoraks. TK Maxx for your socks and cacks, a silver brush to clean your jacks. Calvin Klein's, all the latest lines you'll find in TK Maxx. Well, those shirts so fine and dandy, well, they made my jeans feel tired. Oh, I looked in the mirror, shook with horror, by all accounts well expired. Through racks and rails I rustled, in search of slinky slacks, till I was sold on seams of gold. I bought in blue and black. TK Maxx for your nicks and necks. You can't hold back that paddy whack. There's cutlery and cluttery, there's stacks of anoraks. TK Maxx for your socks and cacks, a silver brush to clean your jacks. Calvin Klein's all the latest lines you'll find in TK Maxx. I was running out of money, my arms were tired and sore, so back to the door for a trolley, by golly made room for more. So I phoned those kindly people, please give my limit some slack. And credit to them, they helped me spend more time in TK Maxx. TK Maxx for your nicks and knacks, you can't hold back that paddy whack. There's cutlery and cluttery, there's stacks of anoraks. TK Maxx for your socks and cacks, a silver brush to clean your jacks. Calvin Klein's all the latest lines you'll find in TK Maxx. But soon those wheels were squeaking under my 6-foot stack. There were pillows and pots on the bottom, there was butter and a clock on the top. The till girl called Priscilla smiled sweetly and said thanks. So I took her for dinner in my new designers. I was a winner in TK Maxx. TK Maxx for your nicks and knacks, you can't hold back that paddy whack. There's cutlery and cluttery, there's stacks of anoraks. TK Maxx for your socks and cacks, a silver brush to clean your jacks. Calvin Klein's all the latest lines you'll find in TK Maxx. So if your life's in trouble, or you're stuck on song syntax, do like they say in Belfast, take a wee trip to the shop. That might not solve your problems, it won't cover all your cracks, but just for a while you can smile in style in the aisles of TK Maxx. TK Maxx for your nicks and knacks, you can't hold back that paddy whack. There's cutlery and cluttery, there's stacks of anoraks. TK Maxx for your socks and cacks, a silver brush to clean your jacks. Calvin Klein's all the latest lines you'll find in TK Maxx.
£200 song.
The socks and cacks song. I think I need to go back. Look,
Oh, my mic's done a runner here.
I think I need to go back.
How did you spend 200 quid in TK Maxx? That would have been a hard job.
Saucepans, socks, cacks, and that's through.
Blue and black.
Blue. I said I think I need to go back to get a few more pairs.
Did you spend it all in one day?
No, I think I got a few Christmas presents out of it actually. You know,
happy days. Well, I'm still waiting on mine.
So it worked out all right in
It's
the
a
end.
cracker,
You know.
I remember the first time I heard it, and it was brilliant. You know what I mean?
For laughing.
But apart from the singing, songwriting, Finbar, you're a GP or somewhere along that lines, is it?
I trained as a GP, and I do at the moment do a little bit of GP locums. We run a small clinic up in Belfast. It's a mediocre, sort of small-sized clinic trying to help people out in difficult situations.
Right.
And we have some success, with some good successes, but I can tell you that the powers that be are not too happy, and I probably don't want to talk too much more about that. But it's let's put it like this: sometimes when you go against the system doesn't like it, and I just wonder, you know, this so-called free country of ours. I don't really get it. I don't think there's freedom of expression, really. I don't really think that there's freedom of thought. And it's bad here, and I have to say in the rest of Ireland isn't any better. And you'd wonder, in my opinion, if you don't, maybe it's not the right place to say this, I don't know, but like people who give their lives for freedom and social principles, if they could get out of the graves now, I mean, what would they be thinking? You know what I mean? They go back in and wonder what did they do it for. That's I probably have a bit of a song in that, maybe a slightly serious one, but it's about that sort of idea, but it's nothing too controversial.
No bother.
Would that be alright? It's called...
Sing away, get her. There's no holding back on the freedom of expression in the studio.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. So. Free Newry. This is a song that I often, like when you listen to people preaching, I'm not overly religious. I don't even know if I am religious at all, to be honest. You know, I think I believe in God Mondays and Tuesdays, and the rest of the week I'm agnostic. I believe in a continuum. I believe that Christianity is maybe as good a philosophy as any, if people really followed the Christian message.
Yeah.
But I wonder if Jesus came back again, what would they do to him? Would it be any different?
Yeah.
I think it would be worse.
Yeah.
And if there was a Saviour to come back, he's got a lot more sins to forgive. They're bigger than ever before.
Yeah.
So combining all those sorts of ideas, I wrote a song about people cherry picking the Bible, the bits that they want, and I called it Jesus a la carte. I don't know if you've come across this before, but it seems to go down well. People seem to identify with it, so
Yeah.
give it a lash. Slight adjustment. I was born out in the sticks where country folks got their kicks, working hard, playing tricks, went to church on Sundays. Now we believed in Jesus Christ and Lucifer. God Almighty said our prayers and didn't swear, at least not till Monday. One day I heard of Shay, this dude in a black beret. Well, it seems the things he had to say was like the commandments. Care for your fellow man and share a little when you can. Why, Shay and Christianity had much the same fragments. But that's not what people want. They want a cherry pick. They want Jesus a la carte, Jesus a la carte. They roll down the menu, pick their favorite parts, chat the verse they'll quote to you, spitting out what they can't chew. It's loaded from the start. It's Jesus a la carte. So at school I asked the priest, was Jesus not a socialist? He shook his fist, clenched his teeth, shouted with aggression, cast those demons from your mind before the Lord strikes you blind. Magee, you stay behind, come see me in confession. Well, I didn't share his point of view, his anger rang out of tune. Then that life he had to choose took deadly dedication. So I got sandals, grew my hair, got a tie-dye shirt and a pair of flares. With revolution in the air, I took up meditation. From that Jesus a la carte, Jesus a la carte, they roll down the menu, pick their favorite parts, chat the verse they'll quote to you, spitting out what they can't chew. It's loaded from the start. It's Jesus a la carte. Today I take a look around at the poison child in the ground, at towers falling all around. We cower to oppression. I think about Lakota Sioux and the Eskimo and others too, and just what the man will do is beyond comprehension. And if Jesus came again, they'd go and nail him just the same. They say he was the one to blame for this old situation. We filled our bowls up to the brim, it overflowed with lies and sin, and when it comes to pay that bill, there's no negotiation. No Jesus a la carte, Jesus a la carte. They roll down the menu, pick their favorite parts, chat the verse they'll quote to you, spitting out what they can't chew. It's loaded from the start. It's Jesus a la carte.
If playing there with them songs, you know what I mean? I'm just wondering, the amount of songs that you have wrote, it must take some practicing to remember them all, especially when you write a new song.
Yeah, well, it's a bit wordy, so it's, when they're wordy like that, you're right, and sometimes make a bit of a cut of myself, get out into the bar some night and try it out. That's the best place to try it, is watch people's reactions, I think, and see the look in their eyes when they're listening to it.
But there's people can fall into the trap of write a song, and they're strumming the 3 or 4 chords or whatever, and every song can sound the same.
Yeah,
your styles are completely different. One song to the next song's completely different, and even to try and sit down and change each song to a different style altogether, like it takes something. else, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I suppose people do fall into that. Hank Williams used to say, all you need is 3 chords and the truth. But maybe that's right. But I think that there is room for, changing, as you feel, like in that song there, a lot of that's based on truth, actually.
Yeah.
Because it would have been the way I would have thought when I was a teenager, and still think today, that Jesus was the greatest socialist that ever lived.
Yeah.
And his principles are no different than Che Guevara's, and that's what the song was about. I mean, just look after each other, and I mean, the Earth's a small place. There's enough around. I think, I can't remember the exact figures, but it's something like 1% of the population in the world owns about something like 90% of the wealth. It's something ridiculous like that, and I mean, at the end of the day, man, we're only here for a short spell, and we should be trying to take care of the place and leave no damage behind us, or as little damage as possible, and do good.
And it's great the way you have all these facts in here, that you've put it into music, you put it into songwriting.
Well, I try my best.
Express what's in here, you're expressing everything in music, which is a brilliant talent, you know what I mean?
Well, that's what I aim for to do. I just try to get out things that are, what I think are important to be said. It's I suppose, I mean, if I'm thinking about commercial songs in the US or something like that, that is obviously not something that I would be doing, but that's personal to me, and I think that on my own albums, that's the sort of stuff I like to express, and if people come to hear me, that's the type of things that I like to get across, but not always, not always with too much angst. So I like humour, as you know, and in fact, maybe if we had time, we might do one more about our own town of Newry. Would that be all right?
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
And funny enough, my young ones, was taking them home from school the other day, and I was just cracking away with them, and I says to them, "Would you not write a song?" Because they're on about a few songs that I had wrote down through the years, and I said, "Sure, anybody can write a song. It doesn't take a genius to write a song." I said, "Daddy, how would we write a song?" And he says, "Just write down on paper what you're thinking.
Yeah.
That's just express what is inside you. Express it out.
Yeah.
Put it down on the paper and jostle it about." Till it comes even poetic or even unpoetic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they sort of laughed at me, you know what I mean? But that's what it's all about, it's expression.
Kids would surprise you, and then the simplicity, and this is, I suppose, that, that genre of music in the nowadays, where people want that instant recognition, is the simplicity of the language. They want you to sing things that you would say to people, like whilst there's some fantastic old Irish ballads and old folk ballads, people generally wouldn't say to you, the birds were singing in the trees the day that I met her. They're more likely to say, like, I met her down in the nightclub and had a few drinks.
I don't remember leaving her home.
As if she got home.
But you look different the next morning. Manny, something like that scenario, huh?
But that simplicity of language is definitely, I think, is more relevant now. And at the same time, I like colouring, people to interpret things, like Right On. We just met Jimmy McCarthy's song. That's not a song people sort of say, "Oh, it's definitely about that." It's open to interpretation, a bit like a poem is, and there should be a bit of that. But this next one isn't open to interpretation. It's but it is based on a sort of a true story. It was when I came back from Belfast to live in Newry, I did meet a girl that I hadn't seen for a long time, 25, maybe more years, and so she was probably at this stage in her mid-40s, but she was still got that punk attitude about her, and still had some of the punk gear on her. She didn't let go.
Yeah.
She didn't let go of her principles, and I just thought, fair play, because I'd been through the whole rigmarole, wearing suits and ties and this and the other. Look, suits and ties, what do they mean? What does a tie mean? A stupid piece of material wrapped around your neck that's likely catching something and kill you, and people say it's a sign of respectability. Well, Adolf Hitler wore a tie very neatly, and I think that's the stupidest thing that ever was invented. But, we all conform a little bit, I suppose, and I just thought this was so stupid. So I really admired this girl's attitude. Yeah. She just didn't bow to the society at all, and just stuck with her, So I wrote a song in her memory called "The Wee Punk of the Town."
It was in the town of Newry, by Avenue St. Mary's, out from the cemetery, this winsome waif did bound. A spectre so enduring, as nectar so alluring, bedecked so brash and daring was the wee punk of the town. With her lips as black as coal, a big pin through her nose, more rings than curtain poles from her ears hanging down. Well, she looked something delicious, though somewhat malnutritious, and I would be said vicious for the wee punk of the town. Now her tongue it had a stud through, she was bald as Duncan Goodhue, but for the comb like a cockatoo that ran from nape to brow. It was pink and green and yellow, made a peacock seem quite mellow. A right distinctive fellow was the wee punk of the town. With her lips as black as coal, a big pin through her nose, more rings than curtain poles from her ears hanging down. Well, she looked something delicious, though somewhat malnutritious, and I would be said vicious for the wee punk of the town. Her tights were ripped and torn, she wore a kilt and sporran, and tattoos on her forearms of crazy Arthur Brown. With her Dr. Martin boots on, she kicked a cat in a coke can and spat like smoking woodbine, the wee punk of the town. With her lips as black as coal, a big pin through her nose, more rings than curtain poles from her ears hanging down. Well, she looked something delicious, though somewhat malnutritious, and I would be said vicious for the wee punk of the town. How I would change my attire for chains and nails and barbed wire. I'd stick my head in bleach for her, I'd bring that government down. For despite her fearsome fettle, I would lie in beds of nettles, I would pierce my eye with metal for the wee punk of the town. With her lips as black as coal, a big pin through her nose, more rings than curtain poles from her ears hanging down. She looked something delicious, though somewhat malnutritious, and I would be said vicious for the wee punk of the town.
The songwriting's top notch. 10 out of 10 for songwriting.
Thanks very much, Dean.
There was a lot of Sid Viciouses when I was growing up. And everybody wanted to be Sid Vicious, you know what I mean?
Everybody did.
Not as many nowadays, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Finbar, we've come to the end of the show, Destination Folk, and it was a pleasure to have you.
It was a great pleasure
as
to be here.
usual, it was great listening to the fantastic songs. Some new songs I haven't heard, so...
Well, as I say, we look forward to the day where we could crack through Damien. As I say, we'll start off in Uri, and I think we'll just head down the coast and we'll go around by Cork and back up. And
let's keep the money in the economy. Right? We'll not export it like some of the other big top known artists, you know what I mean?
We don't need to go to the moon to see stars.
We'll not shift the money offshore, you know what I mean, to safeguard it. You
Don't
know what I
think
mean?
you two, no.
But once again, Finbar, thank you very much, and folks, it was a pleasure to Finbar in the studio today and Destination Folks. So tune in, we'll see you all again. Thanks
very much.